Friends, I am Dr. Kuldeep Mohadikar. I will present in this video my 10th chapter from my series Literary Pearl entitled as Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock as a Mock Heroic Epic. In the previous episodes, two episodes, I have dealt with different aspects of Rape of the Lock. Here, I will be dealing with Rape of the Lock as a mock heroic epic. The Rape of the Lock is not only an exquisite poem but also a master specimen of the much of heroic genre. Actually, a heroic epic was an outcome of 18th century rational and scientific thinking. The classical age is called the golden age of parody because the modern rational attitude is blended with the imitation of the ancient literary forms. Parody and heroic poems was very in fashion during the age of Queen Anne. The first cause for this was the spirit of didacticism in literature. An epic for that matter, any heroic poem was considered as or to be a poem of lofty form. So they adopted these forms to their need and taste. That is why a heroic poem is made to deal with real society, its custom and tradition. Pope was the perfect representative of the modern classical age. The poem Rape of the Lock passes all the qualities of mock heroic epic. The poem mentions lofty incidents and lofty effects. Pope achieves a grand success by brilliancy. Though the theme is mere trivial, the poet deals it in a lofty manner. This is the real secret of mock heroic poem. It is based on the act of Lord Peter stealing the lock of Belinda. On this small incident, the poem is built with an epic stature, or it is an epic satire, we can call it. Pope said, I quote, the use of pomp expressions for law, action is the perfection of the mock heroic. I unquote. The opening lines are perfect imitation of the epic poem. I quote, what dire offense from a marrow spring, what mighty contest rise from trivial things. I unquote. The poem makes ordinary thing appear grand. The poem provides a chance to the character to be objective and general. For example, Ariel's reflections on the contemporary fashion looks like a general comment. Similarly, all human action are attributed to one or the other, so man is only instrumental in heaven. This attitude removes the sting of personal indication from the poem. The poet uses this opportunity to expose the contemporary society and its defects. He transformed the whole episode into a beautiful satire on the follies of the men and women. All the effects are worked through the spirits of machinery. Ariel taunts at the feminine interest in playing cards and adds the interest does not stop with death. In this way, with the help of Rosicrucian machinery, Pope could transfer a pity theme into a masterpiece of satire. These days, black women thread the brightest fair, that care deserved a wrathful spirits, care some dire disaster, or by force or slight, but what or where fates have wept in night. So these lines are beautifully incorporated or inserted in the poem by Alexander Pope. This whole lecture of Ariel gives a mock effect. Again, in the second canto, the arrival of Ariel and his order to the other spirits is an imitation of the supernatural participation in the great ancient epics. When Belinda's lock is in danger, all spirits rush to serve it, but attempts fail. Secondly, the introduction of the Rosicrucian machinery helped the poet to achieve an impersonal tone in the poem. Actually, the poem has its origin in the domestic conflict between two families of Firmer and Peters. The poem was an attempt for reconciliation. As the incident was real, the poem is to bound affect the feelings of the involved people, but the machinery, the ray of the morning sun raising, Belinda are described with grandeur. Similarly, he calls a Caesar's I quote, a two-edged weapon and a glittering foreface. I unquote. Belinda's revenge is described in a mirthful seriousness. The game of card is also reported as seriously as the proceeding of war. Lord Peter accepts the scissors like a legendary knight receiving a sword in the medieval romances. That is why Hazlitt said, I quote, the rape of the lock becomes triumph of insignificance. It is a perfection of mock heroic. I unquote. Secondly, the aim of mock heroic is moral instruction. So that is all from my side on Alexander Pope's Rape of the Lock as a mock heroic poem. Thanks, friends.